Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over some of my favorite plays for the NBA slate on Draftkings and Yahoo for Thursday, October 31st. We got a 3-game NBA slate for Halloween night. Happy Halloween to everyone watching this video. Hope you guys have a fun night, whatever you are doing. Make sure to stay safe. I'm 20 years old. I haven't been trick-or-treating in like 10 years, so Halloween's just kind of another day for me. But if you are going out and do something, make sure you stay safe. There's some crazy people out there in this world, but let's go ahead and take a look at this NBA slate for today, talk about some of my favorite plays. Just before we do get started, I would appreciate it if you guys would drop a like on this video. And as always, feel free to leave any comments, any questions. If you have feedback, you can always comment that down below in the comment section. I always appreciate your guys' feedback. And if you are new to the channel, if this is your first time checking out a video on my channel, make sure you click that subscribe button down below. Also be sure to hit the notification bell so that way you get notified every time I upload and you'll never miss out on a new video. A lot of you guys that watch my videos are not subscribed. It's like 40% of the people that watch my videos aren't subscribed. So if you're a part of that 40%, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, so that way you get notified every time I upload. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of my favorite plays for today. Starting off at the top, I love Nikola Jokic on this 3-game slate. At the center position, he's $10,000 on DraftKings, $45 on Yahoo. So it's a 3-game slate. Our options are pretty limited. And just looking at the studs on this slate, we're missing a lot of studs. Right now, Trae Young's going to be out for this Thursday night game. Drew Holiday is probable. He expects to play, so he's a guy you could include. But Paul George is going to be out, so that pretty much leaves us 3 guys like above 8K that we can consider paying up for. Jokic is one of them. Then you have Kawhi Leonard, and then you have Drew Holiday. Those are like the 3 guys like 8,500 and above. And just choosing between those 3 studs, I think Nikola Jokic is the clear top option here. It's a great matchup against the Pelicans. The Pelicans are expected to be without Derek Favors today. He is doubtful for this game. So it's going to be some combination of Jackson Hayes and Jahlil Okafor attempting to guard Nikola Jokic. And, I mean, they're just going to have no chance against Jokic. He should have his way, whichever guy's on him, whether it's Hayes or Okafor. He should be able to just bully them. So I love the spot for Jokic. I think this is definitely one of those games where he can go for like a 30-point triple-double. As long as this game can stay competitive, and I think with Drew Holiday coming back, that should definitely help the chances of this game stay competitive. We could see a monster game from Jokic here. We know this Pelicans team is going to play fast. This is one of those spots where you have like one of the top teams in pace, talking about teams that play fast in terms of the Pelicans, and then you have one of the slowest teams in pace, which is the Nuggets. Nuggets are like bottom in the league. I think they actually might be dead last in pace, whereas the Pelicans, I believe, are top 3 just behind like the Heat and maybe the Grizzlies. So this is a great pace-up spot for the Nuggets. Great pace-up spot. I like a lot of Nugs today, and I think Jokic is definitely a guy I'm going to be starting my lineups with. I know he's going to be really popular, but it's just a 3-game slate. Our options are kind of limited, so I think I'm just going to play Nikola Jokic and then just get different elsewhere. So next guy we're going to take a look at is Jackson Hayes, $3,500 on DraftKings. I only included his DraftKings price because over on Yahoo, they did price him up a lot. He's really expensive on Yahoo. I think he's actually kind of overpriced. So I won't be playing him on Yahoo, but I will definitely be playing him on DraftKings at $3,500. So Jahlil Okafor did start the last game with Derek Favors out, but he wasn't really productive. He only played 12 minutes. I know he got into some early foul trouble, but even without the foul trouble, I mean, it didn't look like Okafor was going to be on the floor that long. Jackson Hayes came off the bench and played really well. I believe he finished with like almost 30 DraftKings points, played about 24 minutes. The Pelicans, they're going to be forced to use their bigs in this game. When you're going up against Nikola Jokic and Paul Millsap, you can't really go small. I mean, they're not going to be able to play Brandon Ingram at the 4 in this game. Or they'll be able to play Ingram at the 4, but he's going to have a mismatch against Paul Millsap. And whether it's Okafor or Hayes starting, I mean, that's going to be a tough matchup for them against Jokic. But Hayes is just so cheap on DraftKings that even in a tough matchup, I think he can still provide you some value on this salary. And after Hayes outperformed Okafor by a pretty wide margin last game, it would not be surprising at all if Hayes gets the start here. If he does wind up starting, he's going to be one of the top value plays on DraftKings. It's going to be really hard to avoid him. He's going to have to play minutes because the Pelicans don't have anybody else that they can put up against Jokic besides Okafor. It's really going to be Hayes and Okafor. I feel like splitting the center minutes. You might see Nikola Melli out there as well. But mainly Hayes and Melli are probably going to be the 2 biggest beneficiaries, the 2 guys I want to target with Favors being out. And Jackson Hayes, assuming he starts over Okafor today, I think he's one of the top value plays on DraftKings at $3,500. It sucks that he's only center. You can't like play him at power forward, but either way, I still think he's a top value. But now Bam Adebayo, another guy that I really like on DraftKings, another center play Sucks that he's no longer power forward eligible on DraftKings. He's only center eligible now, but regardless, I think he's a really strong option. $7,600 on DK, $24 on Yahoo. One of the reasons I don't like Hayes on Yahoo, where he's $26, is because I think Adebayo is just a much better play for only $2 less. He projects much better than Hayes. I would just rather play Adebayo between those two guys. On DraftKings, I think you can definitely play both. If you're going away from Jokic, then you could play Adebayo and Hayes. But in his most recent game, it was the same matchup against the Hawks. Adebayo went for 44 DraftKings points. Now he gets them again here. I believe this one's at home, maybe. I'm not exactly sure. Or maybe it's in Atlanta. I can't remember. But regardless, gets the same matchup. He just went off for 44 DK points against the Hawks. I would expect a similar performance, if not a better performance, from Adebayo here. He's going to be a stud this season. He's a guy that can contribute in all categories. He's a good rebounder. He can score. He can get assists as well. They do facilitate the offense kind of through him. He does touch the ball a lot in this offense. He's a good steals and blocks guy too. He does get the defensive stats. So Adebayo is just one of those guys that's going to contribute in all categories. Just gives you so much upside. And even though his price tag is slowly starting to creep up, I honestly think he still might be a tad bit underpriced, especially for a matchup against the Hawks. So really like Bam Adebayo again on this slate. I think he's a really strong option at the center position. But now a value play, Kendricks Williams, small forward, power forward. On DraftKings, he's $3,800. On Yahoo, he's $13. So along with Jackson Hayes, I do expect Kendricks Williams to also be one of the biggest beneficiaries, with Derek Favors most likely out for this game. Last two games, Williams has played 26 and 32 minutes. And in my opinion, he remains underpriced on both sides if we expect him to keep playing those minute totals. I imagine he's going to continue to play about upper to mid-20s in minutes with Favors out. They're pretty thin in their front court right now. No Favors, no Zion. That's going to lead guys like Hayes, Williams having to play pretty solid minutes. So I'd really like Williams here as a cheap value. With Drew coming back, that's going to take a big hit to all the Pelicans. That's going to be a downgrade to all the Pelicans because Drew is a guy that can handle the ball. He'll take a lot of shots. But still, I expect Williams to be able to get some shots up off the bench. He can rebound. He can just kind of do everything. He can kind of contribute in all categories. So I really do like Kendricks Williams as a cheap value play. $3,800, $13. He feels underpriced on both sides, especially for Favors being out. But now we're going to take a look at DeAndre Bembry, point guard, shooting guard. On DraftKings, he's $4,700. On Yahoo, he is $11. So the last game when Trae Young got hurt, in that game against the Heat, Bembry did start the second half for Trae Young. It seems very likely that Bembry is going to start today at point guard. He should be the primary point guard and ball handler when he's on the floor, which obviously helps his chance for a potential assist. Also, now that Trae Young is out, he should be in line for more minutes as well. We've seen in past games when Trae Young is missed, Bembry's been like the biggest beneficiary along with John Collins. And anytime Young comes off the floor, Bembry is usually the guy that replaces him. So I really like DeAndre Bembry. DraftKings adjusted his price. He was like $3,500 on the last slate. They did do a nice job of pricing him up to $4,700, but over on Yahoo, they didn't do that. He's still $11 over there. I think he's one of the top value plays at only $11. He should not be that cheap. He's probably going to play close to 30 minutes, if not more than 30 minutes. And for $11, I mean, that's a great value. Even at $4,700 on DraftKings, I think he probably projects for close to 30 minutes and probably close to 30 DraftKings points. So still a good play on both sides regardless. But now Will Barton, the guy we're going to talk about, shooting guard, small forward. $5K on DraftKings, $17 on Yahoo. So just looking at the Nuggets rotation so far this season, it seems pretty likely that all the Nuggets starters are going to play pretty heavy minutes most nights, if not every night. They're running 10 guys out there. They're running the 5 starters and then the 5 bench players that replace the starters. So just their primary backups. They're not getting real funky with their rotation. They're playing their starters, and then the guys that replace them, they'll usually play about 10 to 12 minutes. The starters will usually play about 34 to 36 minutes. So I really like Barton here, assuming he plays or he continues to play 30-plus minutes. He did get 36 minutes last game. He was playing really well in that game against the Mavericks. Assuming he continues to play well, I expect him to see 30-plus minutes again. It's a really good spot as well, especially because of how fast the Pelicans play. I expect in a fast-paced game, Will Barton should be able to thrive. He's a guy that can handle the ball, especially when Jamal Murray's off the court. He will be the primary point guard. So Will Barton I like a lot. He just seems too cheap on both sides, especially with how consistent he's been this season. He did have one sort of off game against the Suns, and that was actually the one game I played him this year. I did play him last slate, though, but Barton seems too cheap for a guy that probably projects for close to 30 DraftKings points. $5K, $17. Feels like one of the top options at shooting guard and small forward, just points per dollar wise. But now the last guy we're going to talk about is John Collins, power forward center. really like on DraftKings that you can play him at power forward. That gives you a lot of flexibility with your roster. So that way, if you want to like pay up for Jokic or go down to Hayes or play Adebayo, you can still play those guys and get John Collins in there as well. Collins is $8,300 on DraftKings, $33 on Yahoo. So I do expect John Collins to be relied on heavily now that Trae Young is out. He should be the guy that leads this team in scoring pretty much every night when Trae Young doesn't play. We saw it when Trae Young went out in their last game. I mean, John Collins was just chucking up a ton of shots. I can't remember what he finished with. I know it was like 50 DraftKings points. I think he had like 30 points and like double-digit rebounds as well. He's already a good rebounder to begin with, but now that Trae Young is out, that's more shot opportunities to go around for everybody. Collins does see a slight bump in usage with Trae Young off the floor. It's like 3.5%. Taking a heavy volume shooter like Young off the floor, like I said, it's going to open up shots for pretty much all the Hawks starters. I think Collins is a really good option. Obviously, I like Bembry. I think guys like Cam Reddish could be playable if you want to go that route. Maybe you could look to someone off the bench like Kevin Huerter, assuming his minutes limit is gone. I know he's been on a minutes limit lately. If he's off his minutes limit, then he could be a good value. I'm pretty sure he's really cheap on DraftKings. So I do like a lot of Hawks players today. Just whenever you get a high usage player like Young off the floor, that's just going to open up so much for everyone else. And I expect Collins to be one of the biggest beneficiaries. And similar to the Bembry play, Collins did get priced up on DraftKings like Bembry did, but over on Yahoo, Collins remains underpriced in my opinion at $33. A lot of the Hawks players on Yahoo are underpriced. Collins is too cheap. Reddish is too cheap. Bembry's too cheap. I'm going to have a lot of Hawks in my Yahoo lineups just given their price tags because none of them really got adjusted. But that's it for this Halloween night slate, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I do really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the video. You'll notice on the screen right now I have one of my more recent videos popping up on the screen. If you want to check that out, I would really appreciate it. You can also hover over my YouTube logo to subscribe to the channel. And as always, feel free to leave any comments, any questions, any feedback down below in the comments section. Always appreciate your guys' feedback. But thanks for watching. Good luck tonight, guys. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.